Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today's video we're going to be talking about sneaker events pretty much. So if you didn't already know, Sneaker Freaka was this past current weekend. Oh shit, my battery's running low still. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I didn't go, not because I didn't want to. Well, I mean there was a 50-50 in it. So I wanted to go on one hand, but then like on another hand I'm kind of like over sneaker events a little bit. I mean I don't mind going to them still. It's really cool to get to hang out with all the guys that are going there and all that, but just on a personal thing, I feel like sneaker events are kind of dying in Australia at least. So the reason why I didn't end up going was because I actually went out the night before. I'm just going to keep it real, and you know I got back pretty early in the morning. I got at home about 5-6 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, your boy couldn't be bothered going. Like, I woke up and I was like, Sneaker Freaka. I mean, I could go get there by like 2 o'clock if I drive. But then, like, petrol, I was like, nah. Like, for me, it wasn't worth it going. But I'm like, oh, low-key, I kind of like regrets. Like, Sneaker Freaka, they've always been keeping up to date. Like, oh, not up to date, but they've always had, like, the event. Like Sneaker Freaka is the event to go to. And a prime example, they got Jeff Staples, like he attended the event, and I mean it's just pretty freaking big. So in this video we're going to be talking about pretty much sneaker events in general in Australia. So how the sneaker culture is going in Australia, we're not really too much, we haven't got any of our own identity. We're either taking from our American older brothers or our United Kingdom's, I don't know, older brothers, Japanese older cousins. It's just a mix and match. We got the Japanese and Chinese, we got the Bape from there, we got the Supreme from America, then we got from London, we got Supreme and Palace as well. And all the influences, there's the big influences that really affect the way that we choose to dress and style ourselves in Australia. They don't come from Australia. We've got a few, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's plenty of people that influence the way we can look and the way we feel and all that in Australia. I'm just saying for the real big influences that everybody knows, like Kaiser Omar or freaking Ari Pietru, the big YouTubers, and then you got also the Faves guys, you've also got Clout Gang, you've got Logan Paul, Team 10, I don't really know if they're still relevant. So you got all the rappers, Kanye, Drake and all that. They're real big influences, and then you've got Australia. We're just like, oh, that's like hyped and limited, they're wearing it. Oh, those are some Ultra Boosts, I see Kanye wearing them. I'm gonna get my hands on some of those. Like, wow. Yeah, so with the sneaker events, I feel like what it used to be compared to what it is now, like we used to have a strong presence of getting brands known, which, because everyone was back small like 2.5 years ago. Kicks SDW, underrated, even Secret Sneaker Store. I remember going to the first Underground Society. I'll pop up something on the screen if I can find it. Yeah, so I remember going to that event and I was like super thrilled to go. Like this was the first like proper event I was going to, and like I'm pretty sure they still had Sneaker Freaka around back then, but I didn't personally know about Sneaker Freaka. Like I had some friends that had been like a couple times, like friends that I'd met that had been a couple times, but I personally had never been Sneaker Freaka. So this was like my first real big sneaker. This is what really got the community growing a little bit. And then like, yeah, it just went pretty much like, it went, and then now it's gone like. Then we had SneakerCon to Australia, which was not last year, but the year before, 2017. 2017. That was like really big thing to come to Australia. Like SneakerCon was like huge. We weren't expecting it, or well, some of us were expecting it, and it was just amazing. I mean, they didn't do so well for the first one. They had lack of, how do I put it? They had a lack of vendors, but that's because they really didn't do their research before coming. They had all the big vendors, but they didn't have all the small vendors, which I feel like a lot more have popped up ever since you know, all these events have been, everyone's been trying to get into the game, reselling on Instagram and everything. Yeah, they didn't properly utilize their space, but they did have the big YouTubers come down, Kais and Ahmed and Kais's mates, and a couple others. They had Tony D2 Wild. They had a couple other YouTubers, and then last year's one they had Yeezy Buster and Ari Pietru come down, which was pretty. Oh, and I believe the Star Life, Jacob the Star Life, or something like that. Which, I mean, it draws attention to them, of course, because like they're big YouTubers. It's a big American event. But the thing is, they're not bringing anything down with them. Like, they've got all the Australian vendors, which is cool. I really support the locals, but they could also bring some of the stuff down to entertain us more. Like, they could bring the basketball game. That would be really sick to see, like, Australian YouTube community, or just having a competition in basketball. That we definitely have the space to be able to put on a show like that. Whereas like the Australian events so far, they've been okay. Like Sneaker Freaker definitely has done it the best so far. You don't have to pay anything to get in. They always have free stuff getting given away and all that sort of type of things. Whereas other sneaker events that I've seen, Sneaker Bash and the Underground Society event, I don't believe they have had one this year, and I can't remember if they had one last year. But those two events, the Underground Society event was good. I enjoyed the Underground Society event. It was really based on the whole social media aspect of it. They also had a lot of other brands that was starting up, like Waves AU and Underrated, Kicks STW. I believe they had Secret Sneaker Store at the first one. I can't remember if they had it at the second one. But then Sneaker Bash, like, they've taken a giant leap that hasn't really helped. I personally enjoyed Sneaker Bash. Oh, not enjoyed. I didn't mind Sneaker Bash. I had a weird vibe going in, but I was hanging out with Kick75, that was always pretty lit. Had some nice food, can't go wrong. Saw some really dope sneakers, and yeah, prayed that one day I'll hopefully own some of them. But otherwise, I heard a lot of negative reviews on it. People just, they weren't getting their bang for the buck. I feel like the problem is with our events in Australia, we haven't started correctly. We've started at the point of we're just trying to catch up to what the Americans are. So with SneakerCon, you gotta remember, they didn't originally start charging people. They had free entry at the beginning of their events. So what aspects this gives is, you're not charging for events. So people are just coming along because they genuinely enjoy it. So they get to see all these cool vendors, they get to see all these cool things. And I mean, you can definitely charge people for activities, I guess, inside and raffles that you want to do. The problem is in Australia, we're charging people to get in, and then you're also charging people to like do shit, which is like, I mean, I guess they're giving away vouchers or something, but at the end of the day, like, I didn't want to pay to do anything. Like, I ain't rich kid. Yeah, so I reckon Sneaker Freak are doing best because they haven't got entry. They've got giving away free stuff. They always supported by a lot of like Hype DC, Platypus, and I believe a couple other brands, like a lot of other brands, which really helps them out to be able to do a lot of the stuff. But I definitely think that's an aspect we should look into for future sneaker bashes. Instead of getting like the the convention center, getting somewhere smaller that we can get really personal. Like, it's a nice open area. If it's like a real sunny day, have outdoor basketball competition. That's another thing that Sneaker Expo or Ego Expo, that's the one, Ego Expo did. They have basketball competitions, they have runway model shows, which I think is such a dope aspect, that we could have like a Hypebeast model show and like make it a gold coin donation where 50% of the profits or whatever go to like a foundation that helps children with like who can't afford to buy shoes or something. So that way we're not just feeding like, I guess, the business side of the sneaker culture, but we're also, I guess, we can feel good inside knowing that, oh, we might be entering this, but we know half of our money is going to help kids overseas in Africa or somewhere less fortunate, or even help people in Melbourne who are struggling to be able to afford the essentials. We, as hypebeast sneakerheads, we put our money aside and we buy the things we like, but it's always good to give back as well. And I think that's definitely something that Sneaker Bash, Underground Society, and just all other events in general that are trying to really like grow in Melbourne or grow in Australia should look into doing. Like, just always, you gotta always remember the money is good, but at the end of the day, like, there's only so far it can take you, like, morally and all that stuff. I'd rather spend my money, like, say if they were doing like $30 tickets for a sneaker event, but say like they said 50% of the profits was going back for, what's it called, a charity of some sort. I'd much rather go to that event knowing that I'm giving back in a way. Even if it was like a $2 donation to get in, or a $3 donation, if they were going to a place where you didn't have money as the main thing allowing you to pretty much donate, or along those sort of lines. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there because I've been talking forever. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it. Let me know what you guys want to see in future, more videos. I've got some other videos that I want to upload this week, a couple videos I want to finish off. Also, let me guys know what you guys thought of Sneaker Bash, Sneaker Freaker. Tell me how good it was in the comments down below, so that way next year I'll be more motivational to go. I hope you enjoyed. It's been your boy Ben YG, and yeah.